Welcome back, everybody. Again, this is our third video of the night. We are the three middle-aged dudes just bullshitting about nothing. Maybe, maybe sometime in the future we'll become 2 or 4 middle-aged dudes. Maybe we'll get 5, and then we'll do the whole Voltron thing. All right? No, I'd say Power Rangers, but I don't think anybody wants to play the Pink Ranger.
Fuck that.
Let's continue on with the theme of the night, and not just the theme of the night. We are going to go ahead and expand on something that we touched on earlier. Earlier this week, Microsoft had their Xbox Spring event where they had a huge, basically, press conference and keynote speech where Phil Spencer, head of the Xbox division at Microsoft, came out and pretty much went out of his way, and he didn't exactly lay bare all of the plans that Microsoft had for everything, but he said some things that were pretty interesting, and it kind of gave you an insight as far as what Microsoft was planning on doing, not only as a company, but what they were planning on doing in regards to the game industry and how they were going to handle the Xbox One. All right. Thoughts, everybody? Anything that stood out to anybody in particular? I think that says a lot, and they have the fucking thing.
Gray Mouse One here is the only Xbox One owner in this conversation. So you have the floor. How do you feel about this current situation?
If I want a PC, I would buy a PC.
Okay, let's just back up 1 second to catch the viewing audience up. One of the many things that Phil Spencer went ahead and actually talked about was hardware innovation within the realm of gaming consoles. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read you what he said. Basically, his thing is that he's like, when you look at the console space, I believe we will see more hardware innovation in the console space than we've ever seen. You'll actually see us come out with new hardware capability during a generation, allowing the same games to run backwards and forward compatible because we have a universal Windows application running on top of the universal Windows platform that allows us to focus more and more on hardware innovation without invalidating the games that run on that platform. Okay, in a nutshell, basically what he said was this, is that out of the many things that he said in that keynote speech, he said that whenever we come to a new generation of consoles for the video game industry, basically the developers and the first-party publishers and third-party publishers are locked into one hardware spec that they got to go ahead and ride out for the next 7 to 10 years or however long that goes. What he was suggesting is that if we happen to have consoles where you can sit there and upgrade parts and components like you would a PC, that it would allow for greater capabilities for games, not only for things that are coming forward, but also for anything that you would suggest for backwards compatibility, which a lot of people heard that and very skeptical about it because they said exactly what Gray Mouse said, which is, again, sir?
If I wanted a PC, I would buy one.
Exactly.
Well, to add on to what you're saying, Reverend, it's a good idea, but I think it's going to fall flat. I mean, I understand where, from a big company business standpoint, that it's better to have, to throw out a system and then pretty much modify it, as the generation goes on. between 5 and 7 years before the next best thing. Because current situation, developers are stuck with what that generation is. For example, the developers are stuck with your PlayStation 4, your Wii U, and your Xbox One hardware.
Yeah. But the thing about that is that as developers, the flip side of that is that when you have one particular hardware spec, the developers always know what they're working with. And when they get better and better, that's the reason why games at the end of the generation are always stellar in comparison to the ones at the very beginning. All right? Like, you couldn't have gotten Super Metroid out of the Super Nintendo.
Not at the beginning stage. I was just about to elaborate.
Super Mario World level, no.
Wait. Look, you would not gotten Donkey Kong Country at the beginning stage of the Super Nintendo.
Nope.
That would not have happened.
Nope, not at all.
And then let's look at the flip side. Look at Sega. Look at Sega, what they did in the 90s.
Yeah.
32X. What did that thing have? Like 40 games on it?
I mean,
yeah, I have
Sega
one.
CD, all that stuff.
I have a Sega CD also.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But I understand where they're trying with that, but I just don't see it feasible, and to a point to where a consumer, us gamers, would want to buy an add-on. It didn't work, like you said, it didn't work for Sega. So why does Microsoft think it's going to work for them? It's beyond me.
Because this is 2 decades later.
Or even to that effect, are they going to allow, if they're going to have like upgradable components and stuff like that, are they going to allow consumers now to go ahead and crack open their own consoles? If that's the case,
they're going to have to. How else are they going to modify it? I mean, so you can't hold that warranty no more. If you nowadays, if you open up your machine, and
you break the warranty,
you break that warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know how. There's a lot of mechanisms in place now that they're going to have to deal with later if they're planning to do this. Or is it going to turn into another Sega Saturn, piling up stuff, Sega CD, all this stuff, and it makes this huge. No, people don't want that.
What's funny about like the whole Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Sega 32X? There was actually a prototype that Sega wanted to put out called the Sega Neptune.
The Neptune. That was an actual 32X standalone, right?
Yeah, a full-blown 32X embedded on a Genesis board on top of a Sega CD, pretty much. It was everything all in one, which would have been nice because I remember all the half-dozen cords connected between the two and the 3 fucking AC adapters that I had to run in order to have that thing on. Yeah, it sucked. All right.
But I don't think Microsoft is going to make those missteps. I don't think it's going to be to a point to where you have to have a surge protector to freaking play your video game. I would hope not. But I do see the benefits of it. I do see that. I guess what Microsoft's trying to do is extend the generation. The Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 was 10 years.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. If that were the case, then why the fuck are they putting most of their games on the PC?
See, that's the other detail.
That confuses me more than anything. Putting their first party titles on the PC.
Well, as far as Microsoft's concerned, it's still first party. There are some PCs that don't run Windows, but a lot of PCs run Windows. I understand.
Windows is still a platform that they own.
That's what I'm saying. So Microsoft sees it that that's totally going cross-platforming. They're just putting it.
It's kind of cross-platforming, but at the same time, it kind of eliminates the Xbox One.
It does.
In general, because motherfuckers are like, I have a PC. Why the fuck am I going to buy an Xbox One? I can just get the games for the PC.
And those guys, those gamers have every right to be mad. I'd be mad too. So why are you putting, why are you putting these games on the PC when I already bought your $600, $500, $400 console here? Why are you putting supposedly console exclusives on the PC? And that pissed me off too. But I understand that they want to bring in, I guess they want to integrate the PC gamer with the console gamer and try to, cross-platforming games. I mean,
at the same time, though, do you actually think that this will extend the time of the console? Do you actually think when Sony comes out with the PS5, the Xbox One is going to stick with what it has and then just come out with a fucking $300 upgrade to the fucking system?
Yeah.
No. I think I don't really like
let's.
Would you buy Gray Mouse? Would you buy a $300 upgrade for your system?
No.
And if it's gonna change the specs, let's think about this one. Storage on your hard drive. Due to the games that's gonna be trying to handle the hardware upgrade, how much fucking gigs would those fucking games take on your?
With to answer that question, I kind of think that question is null and void per se. The reason why I say that is because the Xbox actually had the idea of external.
They support external drives.
However, the PlayStation 4 does not. So you're not really stuck with PlayStation, or you're not really stuck with.
Well, in the PlayStation 4, you can actually take a.
It's interchangeable.
Hard drive. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, but I'm saying that. So I don't see the storage a problem with the Xbox at all.
But I wouldn't want to buy a terabyte hard drive that only supported 4 fucking games.
Say again?
You know what I'm saying? That's
what did you say? I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
I wouldn't want to buy a terabyte hard drive that will only support 4 fucking games.
Man.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm exaggerating.
I don't think a game will be 500 gigabytes. I mean, there could be.
I understand what you're saying.
All the
but if they're gonna boost up the specs and to catch up with technology, then how much gigs would the games take?
Yeah.
Plus all the DLC.
Well, again, this kind of goes along with the digital only age that they're trying for. All of them, Sony, I don't care. All these guys, they want that. I mean, it's obvious because why would you think? I had my 360. I didn't need a 500 gigabyte hard drive. I played 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 games that I could save on a 360. Now,
you didn't have to install your games.
I didn't have to install my games. So on both sides, Sony and Microsoft, you have to install your games in order to play them. And you have to have the disc. You still have to have the disc inside your system to still play. To me, why am I loading this up on my PlayStation? Why am I loading this on my Xbox? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's that all happens to deal with like copyright protection and other things. But there's one thing that I want to go ahead and I want to bring up because we're wondering why would Microsoft want to go ahead and do that? Well, I'm going to point out that as far as if you read the notes on what he actually says in his keynote speech, he mentions over and over again Windows 10, Universal Windows Platform, and the Windows Platform. Okay? Like said in the previous video, Microsoft wants to get everybody on Windows 10. They want Windows 10 on everything that's in your fucking house. Okay? Your PC, your tablet, your table, your phone. This already fucking that plan pretty much failed, okay? But the tablet and the other thing, who knows? So the only other like penetration that they can go ahead and count on is the Xbox One. Okay, and according to what I've heard, and according to people's feedback, on Windows 10, when you have the Universal Windows platform and the Universal Windows applications, games that are available for PC are ported onto that. However, they're severely limited right now. It's like porting over to another platform. A lot of them don't have full hardware support or full feature support. So it's really, really limited. But Microsoft really is willing to go ahead and throw away money if they make sure that people have these operating systems, which has its own marketplace, its own app store, everything else, its own firewall, its own paywall, its own bloatware and spyware. They want that into everybody's houses. Okay.
Will the Xbox One last another 8 years?
Here's the thing. Even with the upgradable components and everything else, at the speed that technology moves, I doubt this would work out as far as upgrading hardware for a console. Okay, because let's go ahead and set the table here. Okay, when you're separating out, why is there this huge divide between PC gamers and console gamers? All right, the console gamer, their goal is simply to go ahead and play games. All right, PC gamers a lot of times, and I can speak from experience, part of the joy of owning a PC, if you're knowledgeable about it, is actually putting it together and seeing that, hey, look, I can actually change parts out and what I'm doing will run better. Okay? Otherwise, if there wasn't that sort of direct feedback, I wouldn't deal with this bullshit. Seriously. The problem with variable hardware specs as far as game development goes is that if I have to sit there and make a game and account for every upgradable piece of video, audio, RAM, processor equipment out of there, I'm not going to be able to support all of them. Sooner or later, some of that stuff is going to get dropped off, and I'm going to spend a lot of time and a lot of money trying to figure out where I want to go ahead and place that.
Well, I think Microsoft is, I think they just want one, like you said, one operating system to work with. And it just so happens that Windows 10 is it for now. Because maybe it makes it easier for the developers to develop these games for the Xbox and the PC because it's running the same engine or the same operating system. It's the same. It's familiar. But
if it's running off the Universal Windows application platform, what they're saying that they're trying to push forward in order to go ahead and get games going on Windows 10, then it should be really homogeneous. There's not going to be any big difference at all.
The thing is, though, graphics has become a huge thing that people buy systems for. I hate to say that, but
that's going to plateau out.
And in my opinion, I think it already has, and that's the reason why Microsoft is trying to do this. But there's one thing, though, games will always look better on a PC. It's just the way it is because you have higher graphic cards, higher computing power. It's just the way things are. But I don't see me opening up my Xbox and pulling a video card out and replacing it with a new one. What's the point?
Here's the kicker. How often would you have to do that? Every 2 to 3 years?
Well,
how much money would you pay?
In the PC world, your graphic cards pretty much as soon as it comes out, it's already obsolete. There's already something better going on the market within a week or 2 weeks later. That's just the way it is. So
yeah, most hardware spec is pretty much considered last generation, like 6 months. So
hey, a better graphics card didn't work for Arkham Knight.
Actually, it did. But you know what the price tag on it was?
$300?
370. All right.
I was going to say 4.
Yeah, you're closer than.
Yeah. All right.
Oh God!
It's
But my point is, if they're gonna go this route, then how often would you have to upgrade your console, and how much would it be? Because, like you just said, PC is always going to be graphically enhanced.
Yeah.
So if the Xbox One is always going to be trying to catch up to the PC, you're always going to be upgrading your motherfucker.
Yep.
Well,
And
yeah, exactly. And what really pissed people off, like in our like we barely touched on a little bit in our previous video, it pissed motherfuckers off when they said when Phil Spencer was saying that, that saying that so why do I have your console when I could just play it on your PC?
Yeah.
Which with better graphics, better control,
especially if all your games are going to be going on it anyway.
Anyways,
that's what. So why am I going to spend $500, $600 on a console when you're just going to throw the same games onto the PC? So this middle ground that Microsoft is coming up with, I personally think it's going to blow up in their face. They need to decide. I know they don't want to split the PC versus console side of the house. It just so happens that Microsoft is a big company, has a gaming company and a PC, so, and what they're trying to do is remove that wall between them. But
that wall should be there.
That wall should be there, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. If they have that many people adopting Windows 10 across devices and everything else, and everything has to be ported over to support the Universal Windows application platform, guess what? It doesn't matter if the Xbox One exists or any iteration of the Xbox One exists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's made for PC is going to be there.
Well, maybe
that's
you guys
what they're
don't
really
know
trying
this.
to push.
Maybe you guys don't know this because you don't own Xboxes, Xbox Ones, that is. They actually put DirectX onto the Xbox.
Oh yeah, no, that's been there since the beginning.
You're already eliminating walls already. You know what I mean? Why do I have a console then? Are they going to make exclusive games for it? Apparently not, because everything that's supposedly exclusive is ending up on the PC. Now, I don't have nothing wrong with PC gamers. PC gamers are, that's fine. That's what you're into, But I don't care if I have an aging console sitting underneath my TV, and
if you have good games for your console, nothing else matters at that point.
What did you say?
If you have good games for your console, nothing else matters at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's still, perfect example. People still play their Ataris, their NESs, their Super Nintendos. The games are still good. They're Genesis. They don't
look good to today's standards. They weren't supposed to look good to today's standards, motherfucker.
I understand from a standpoint. I understand what they're trying to do. They want to put Windows 10 across everything.
Yeah. But at the same time, I understand what you're saying, Gray Mouse, that it may hurt Microsoft in the long run because, like you said at the very beginning, if I wanted a PC, I'll just go get a PC and just play the games on it, and that's it.
And then every what, 3 to 5 years, maybe I could probably get away 7 to 10 years and switch out a graphics card or get a new motherboard. I mean,
that's the thing about it. With
upgrade your RAM.
Or upgrade my RAM.
See, with PCs, you were used to doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So for PC gamers, that's not going to hurt at all. But for console gamers are like, fuck that. This is why I play on a fucking console.
Yeah. And the thing is that the reason why I keep my consoles is that, and I don't keep my old computer hardware, is that I can sit there, I can reach over and grab any of these games on my shelves. I can stick it into the corresponding console, and I'm going to be assured, I can rest assured, that it's going to go ahead and play.
See, that's the thing about it at the beginning stage of the Xbox One, where they were announcing what they're announcing in 2013. it was like, okay, wait a minute. We already have PCs that eventually will die if you don't upgrade them.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much of an upkeep you keep, you could dust it off every 18 days. It will die. You can't play. You can't even fucking hook up Windows 95 anymore. 98, Windows ME, Windows 2000. No, you can barely.
One thing about that,
you can't even do Windows Vista no more.
One thing about that too is that old PC parts, they're literally worthless. But if you have a console or a video game, you can still sell that for a decent amount of money. But for your PC version, who's going to want a 12 graphics?
Certain PCs can't even get upgraded.
That's what I'm saying.
What you do. So will the Xbox One become that?
Eventually, yes. Because the thing is that the way that Phil Spencer said it is that he's pretty much presenting it that you're going to always have the same box on your fucking desk or your entertainment system. Guess what? That core hardware is, yes, we know it's already obsolete in comparison to the modern technology. But there's going to be a point where that core hardware is going to be capped out.
This is another thing too.
Yeah, you're going to be forced to get new hardware.
Well, see, what I think it is, I'm sorry, what I think it is that Microsoft is getting tired of making consoles. It's just plain and simple. They're tired of going generation to generation. So they're saying, okay, fine. We'll the Xbox 2. Oh my God, I hate that word. We'll have a place or whatever to put, your different modules in there to upgrade. So there will be, as far as I can see, the 9th generation, the gaming generation, will be the last one for Microsoft. Because Nintendo's getting into the 9th generation with the NX. That is the 9th generation for them.
Do you think that will be their last one?
I don't know, but the way that Microsoft is talking about it, they're just going to build the 9th generation machine, and you're going to upgrade it for 15 to 20 years. You're just going to put different memory cards in it and different graphic cards. And I guess they're tired of making a console. But the thing is, they only made 3.
They're only around for 3 generations.
That's what I'm saying. So what's the big deal? Unless they know something that we don't know, are we going completely digital? Is this the bottom line?
They tried once.
Oh yeah, I knew they're going to try again. They're absolutely going to try again. All of them are.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft will try it before Sony and Nintendo.
I agree.
Yeah.
We don't know about the NX. There's no drive. There's no disk drive for NX.
Absolutely true.
And here's the thing about the digital stuff is that if they've got the universal Windows application there with the Windows 10 application store, it's saying, hey, everything we offer is digital.
That's my point that I'm making.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's where they're going. They're not saying it, of course not. But, it takes 3 middle-aged guys, to see through the bullshit. We're not fanboying here. We're just speaking the truth and our opinions.
Yeah, we're fanboys for video games.
Yeah. I do not agree at all. As the only Xbox One owner here, I do not agree at all where they're going. I think it's a bunch of nonsense. But I do understand. I understand from a business standpoint that this is good for them. Because
that's the thing about it. We're looking at both sides of the situation as far as what they're trying to accomplish, what could be the pros and the cons. We're not condemning this. If they're going to do this, though, they got to do it correctly. They can't have this thing upgrading every 2 to 3 years and have you coming out the pocket $150 every 2 to 3 years.
How?
Just on the record, I'm condemning this. Okay, this is a bad fucking idea. All right? On the record, this is a bad fucking idea.
Reverend, but do you understand where they're coming from, though?
I understand where they're coming from. All right? But the thing is that I'm looking at it from somebody who's actually been on the QA side, and from somebody who's actually working with a company that does software development for fucking mobile applications. All right, it's a bad fucking idea. All right.
Here's another thing too. When they develop games for this console, what are they going to use as an example?
You know, if here's the problem, okay, and I can cite examples from the time that I worked at Activision, okay. With the Xbox and Xbox 360 dev kits they had, there were emulation pieces that you can go ahead and set up and configure. All right. Reason being is that there are hardware revisions for those particular older consoles. Okay. When you make a game for their console and there are multiple hardware revisions, you have to be dead sure that if there are 15 fucking revisions of that hardware, that your game plays on those
all 15.
All of them.
All right.
Absolutely.
You know, and that happens with everybody. Nintendo, Sony,
Yes.
Microsoft.
Robert, let me ask you a question. During the whole Red Rings of Death bullshit, you know, when they had to come out with freaking new motherboards and all that shit. So were you a QA at that time?
Yeah, I was in QA at the time. Look, as many people on the QA floor who could get a hold of an Xbox 360 at launch, there were a lot of people who went and did. Over 3/4 of them had to send their shit back within a month because shit was overheating. All right.
Actually, I had a good one. I actually didn't have to turn it back until like 5 years later.
You know what's funny?
You barely turned your Xbox on.
Shit.
Well, you know what's funny is that in that particular instance, an upgradable component to go ahead and correct that shit would have been a good idea.
Putting it in.
Yeah, it would have been a good idea. All right, but what happened was that we got to understand that the almost 130 fucking million Xbox 360s that were sold worldwide. You've got to count the repeat customers that not only got banned off of Xbox Live, but their systems just fucking failed on them.
Well, there are some people that got it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but you know, it didn't go away until the very latest, you know, the Xbox Slim.
The Slim.
Yeah, you know,
was it a Dolphin motherboard or something like that?
Yeah.
The Dolphin motherboard?
No, you're thinking Nintendo. If you're saying
Dolphin. Not Dolphin, but it was something like that. No, they named it. I forgot what they called it.
Yeah, but in that instance, dude, that would be great. Upgrading components, individual components, that would be great. But for something that should be solid, it's a fucking nightmare. Not just for consumers, but also for developers.
Yeah.
If you think developers are having a hard time signing up to Microsoft to make shit for the Xbox One now, if they go forward with this, motherfuckers will leave in drones.
The way I see it too is that, you know, at least when a new console comes out, everybody's on the same page. Now, if Microsoft is doing this, so what happened if, you know, okay, 5,000 of your fan base or whatever decide to upgrade? What about the other people that didn't? So now you're going to run on two different programs.
Yeah.
So I see it as a developer nightmare.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It would be the same thing as coming out with an Xbox One version of a game and an Xbox 360 version.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would think that they would have to emulate, just like they're doing with the backwards compatibility with the Xbox One now. Because, I mean...
What about DLC and what about upgrades to the console?
Here's the thing. What if
I'm sorry. You know, Microsoft, it's a good idea. I understand why they're doing it. But you cannot make people upgrade their components. That's the policy in this whole thing, is that I may want to upgrade, but Theme may not. And, you know, and the Reverend may not. So I'm running on a different part of software, but you two are running on the old.
Would that affect online gameplay?
Absolutely.
Yes. It affects everything. Let me just reveal an inconvenient truth about the PC gaming market and PC gaming hardware in general. Okay, the PC gaming hardware is driven by games. All right, if there were no games on the PC, the hardware wouldn't advance.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about if you're a hardware maker is that you want people buying stuff all the time. So you design your stuff beforehand to be obsolete really fucking quick. All right. Now, if there are no games that require the new hardware, then nobody's going to go out of their way to upgrade. So you know what they do with the developers? All right. You know how on certain games for the PC it says it brings up the NVIDIA logo and it says the way it's meant to be played or the logo or something like that. They say we're gonna pay you a certain amount of money, all right, to go ahead and fund this, but you're also gonna go ahead and make sure that it's spec'd out so that it runs well on our new shit coming out in a year or two. All right. So
the developers are basically playing devil's advocate, more or less. They're creating,
no, the developers are driving it forward.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're already making obsolete components, but they also want to run that same game on a future version of that component.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
devil's advocate, yeah.
When you sit there and you take that into consideration, Microsoft is not going to go ahead and spend billions of dollars to invest in upgrade components if there's not a way for them to go ahead and guarantee that their user base is actually going to upgrade. All right. So yeah, that backwards and forwards compatibility stuff. Smoke blowing up people's asses.
If that's
there's going to be a game that's going to come out that's going to.
That's what I was going to say. If that's the case, then Microsoft got some killer games coming out. That's either or. Either they're just blowing smoke or they're coming up with some good shit, which I don't think they are. I think they're blowing smoke.
What about the HoloLens in this situation?
The HoloLens. I don't think it's more, how can I say this? To me, it's not a game peripheral, I guess. To me, it's something like teleconferencing, and like if you have something that you want to do that you don't know how to do it, but I do, we both put on a HoloLens, and I can show you how to untwist a pipe or whatever, how to solder a, or how to solder a
I'm not being fondled online. That's harassment.
So we're running out of time. In conclusion, I absolutely 100% am against this. I think Microsoft is biting off more than they could chew.
I understand what they're trying to do, but it's not a great idea because of what we just currently discussed. It's just that no, they're trying to be a PC and they shouldn't be. They should be Xbox.
I understand where Microsoft is coming from. I also understand where they're pushing. Like I said right at the end, I condemn it. I don't like it. I don't agree with any of it. And with the last 45 seconds, we're just going to go ahead and try to wrap it up, folks. This is, I think, our last official video for tonight. Maybe something else will pop up. Hit subscribe below. Make your comments. Hit like. Hit dislike. We're here every week. I'm the Reverend.
This is the theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming. Credits.